Up, we're welcoming on our stage Jason Hughes, General Manager at IC Markets, who will give us a closer look to the Asia's FX and CFD industry, now built on trust, technology, and transparency. Let's find out how payments, platforms, and partnerships are anchored in credibility and client experience. So a warm welcome to Ms. Wong Mei Ling, who will lead this interview with Jason Hughes.
Thank you very much, our MC today. Good afternoon, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. This is my pleasure to meet you all here. This is Mei Ling, by the way. And let me quickly introduce the company IC Markets to every one of you, as well as my honorable guest sitting next to me, Jason. So first of all, IC Markets is a globally recognized leader in the CFDs, trusted by both professional and beginner traders for more than 18 years already. And it is regulated across multiple jurisdictions. Well known for its execution speed, as well as pricing integrity and their client-first approach. This is really important. And IC Markets continue to set a high bar, the benchmark for great performance in global markets. So today, joining us is Jason Hughes, the General Manager of IC Markets. Jason actually brings 2 decades of excellent experience in financial derivatives, having held leadership roles in London, Singapore, and the UAE, that is the United Arab Emirates, since 2020. He has driven licensing and growth strategies under the ADGM, and now focuses on strategic expansion with IC Markets within the region. And today's topic is Beyond the Spread, Building Trust Technology and Transparency in Asian FX Markets. We'll explore how brokers can move beyond price wars to focus on payments, platforms, and partnerships, building trust that drives long-term growth. By the way, Jason, let me just quickly ask you the first question. Everyone's talking about spreads, bonuses, and leverage, but you often emphasize trust. Why do you believe that's now the true battleground for everyone of us?
Well, thank you for the introduction. You made me feel very old. Anytime anyone referenced two decades of experience, I now start to feel my age. So it's great to be here. First time in Hong Kong since COVID. So great to be back visiting Hong Kong. Look, I think there's been a growth in the brokerage space over the last 2 decades since I've been working in it. We've seen a lot of brokers crop up around the globe in Europe and Asian hubs. When we look at the traditional space, it's sort of being focused on pricing, execution, low cost. But now as the market matures, clients and partners want to see credible counterparties from their brokers. So we're moving into a world that is driven more by regulation and ideally building long-term partnerships with the clients, but also the partners that are within our ecosystem. So, traditionally, you've seen spreads squeezed on products and commissions driven lower. Now, sometimes that works very well for direct clients, but maybe not so well for partners who are looking to share commissions and spread with the brokers. So it's getting the balancing act right between those different business lines. At the same time, looking for regulated partners and using different regulations to house different portions of business.
I see. Well, excellent point that Jason just pointed out. He highlighted the market's maturity means traders now audit for trust. Well, and it's no longer just about the best offer, but also about the most reliable partner. And it is really important. And this reframed the entire view of the competitive landscape. Well, that perfectly sets our next question on the stage. Let's dive into technology. How can brokers use it to actually demonstrate transparency and earn that trust?
It's through various means at the moment. The thing that's important to clients is often speed. So we touched on execution and execution speed, which is something that has been very traditional in the trading space. We're now moving on to look at speed of payments, how quickly you can get money into your account and money out of your account. So ensuring that not just your pricing and trading tech stack is updated with the best solutions, but also looking at the partners for your money in, money out, your custodial services, and ensuring that you can expand that sort of overall trust across the different business verticals that you're operating in. In addition, there's a big focus on different product sets coming through. So you're seeing a lot of brokers move away just from the derivative space and into more listed exchange traded products, be that equities or futures. With that comes different reporting requirements and a need to ensure that your tech for reporting is also up to speed and able to deliver what is required from a regulatory standpoint. So across the piece, technology becomes key. In addition, not only in the payment space, but when a client first comes to you, you need to do full KYC on them, get the right documents in, conduct the right checks, so that you can face off against regulated counterparties from a payment perspective, especially. So there's been a lot of focus in for IC, but for other brokers as well, of making that journey and that funnel as smooth as possible and allowing clients to transact quickly once they come into your environment.
You really have to dig deep and focus on their pain point and help them to solve their real problem. And true that now technology is not just for efficiency, but for auditing and disclosure. And the real-time data dashboard you really share about is a new standard for proving integrity, and it helps build trust. Today, our topic is beyond the spreads, right? So what are you really asking the industry to move beyond, and do you have any tips and any feelings about that?
Look, I was just talking to one of our partners on our booth, and actually they're moving forward with their offering quicker than we can add it to the platform. So at times, because time to market for coding or development has been shortened, it's almost keeping up to speed with the partners that we have. There's a want for clients to get easy tools, easy to use tools, but have a level of complexity to them. That provides challenges from a regulatory standpoint, where you're looking at AI tools assisting people in terms of creating a trading strategy. That comes with its own set of regulatory concerns and frameworks that need to be considered before you push it into a live environment. On the flip side, you can see sometimes that AI can get used in malicious ways to sort of try and circumvent some of the controls that we put in place. So we also have to use it in a way to police the environment and our own ecosystem. And that's in, I guess, more standard IT security ways, but it also impacts on things like KYC and the documents that we'll receive. Sometimes now you can see attempts to change or adapt an ID, and we have to be prepared to spot that at an early point and deal with it.
You really have a forward insight about that. Yeah.
A little bit of forward insight, but you almost have to become specialists in various tools and various areas of your business that you previously wouldn't have even been looked at for technology purposes.
I see. So from what Jason has just mentioned, the future is now actually built on deepest trust and best experiences instead of simply the transactional and price-based competition. And talking about the best experiences, we now have various trading platforms, and I'm sure you all are experts here for traders to choose. And it seems that everyone's using MT4, MT5, and other latest tools. So where can brokers actually stand out?
So over the last few years, you've seen, I think from MetaTrader's own data, you've finally seen MT5 become sort of more utilized and used versus MT4. That's taken 10 years plus to actually materialize. As a broker, we have a number of platforms within our ecosystem. So we have MetaTrader, we have CTrader. We're looking at developing our own more in-house solution. But the trading platform itself is now not necessarily enough. You know, clients want to be able to have multiple accounts on the different platforms because they might all offer slightly different tools or indicators or experiences that they want to access. So creating an environment that allows them to move between those different platforms seamlessly is very important. And then also how you add on your unique tools to that, be that through certain indicators or the partners I was talking about before, where they can allow clients to build AI-generated EAs, but we need to give them the window into our environment to do that. So it's coming up with making trading seamless, giving enough of enough choice within your own environment so that clients are not looking elsewhere in a very competitive space, and also trying to ensure that you're giving tools that will allow for successful trading, not something that is too complex so that it's difficult for someone to understand.
That's true, because a lot of people, they heard about AI, but actually they don't know how to understand it or how to utilize it. So you provide a very clear and simple interface for them, right?
Yeah, I think so. And you see it even in standard sort of talk about AI adoption and ChatGPT, people moving away from a standard Google search into that sort of AI world. And the way that you construct or almost discuss with your AI is subtly different to how you were interacting with Google, a few years ago. So there's a journey that's happening outside of trading, and it's how brokers can leverage on that and the understandings that happen there, but also do it in that controlled manner so that you are still regulatory compliant, you're not overstepping the mark from being an execution broker into the advisory space.
Cool, excellent. That means the key takeaway from just now is to compete on ecosystem, a healthier and very smart ecosystem, not just on the software itself, and focusing more on the user experience, user journey, and creating emotional stickiness through seamless and tailored design for our target audience. So if the goal is building that seamless, trustworthy ecosystem, a key part is clear communication, right? If simple, direct, and very clear. Transparency often turns into walls of legal text. How can brokers simplify it? Because for me, as a layman, I can't understand very clearly about those legalization terms.
I think this is something that's always tricky in a highly regulated space. So, we try and overlay some of the legal jargon with simple FAQs and very basic stuff. The drive to being a more regulated environment is important, and I think that there are many different strategies at play from different brokers in terms of where they get licensed, and understanding what that means for the end client is sometimes a little bit unclear. So we have regulated entities in Australia, in Europe, Seychelles. We're going through a licensing process at the moment in the UAE, and it isn't necessarily very clear the different protections that you may get from the different entity that you may face. So we like to offer our clients choice, so we try and allow them to sort of determine which regulator they would like to, or regulated entity they would like their account under. but that's not always possible. You know, sometimes we have to make those decisions for them. The best way to do it is just try and remove the legal jargon and try and pull out the most important points and make sure that's transparently put in a sort of a one-pager for clients. We can probably do it better. Most brokers can probably do it better than we do currently. But I think as long as we're trying to be transparent, that's one of the key points for us.
So the thing is to make it simple. The key to make transparency instantly understandable through visuals and simple language is essential. If visual transparency is a new standard, the next logical step should be leveraging smarter technology. And that leads to our next question, Jason. What role will AI you just mentioned and automation play in Asia's next phase of brokerage growth, and do you consider AI a buzzword or a game changer?
Look, for brokers have been using AI or machine learning for a long time to manage risk, certainly internally. What's happening now is a transition to allow those tools to be externalized a little bit more. For me, it's that sort of key between, as I said before, most brokers are execution-only brokers, so we cannot give advice. So it's understanding how those tools are advising and giving clients, strategic advice, and how we can still do that from an execution-only broker standpoint, but giving the assistance to support a client create a strategy that generates returns is a very tricky balance to be found. Everyone wants to go on and sort of say, should I invest in this, and get an AI response that says, yes, great idea. But that's a very fine line. And, actually building something that allows for more complex strategy building is actually going to be more where I think the focus will be as clients start to understand and use AI better in their everyday life. They'll want the same in their trading experience.
That's true, and we've got a point from Jason that AI is indeed a game changer, but the winning formula combines its efficiency with authentic human connection, and it's about empowerment, and that's not about replacement. You've also outlined a major evolution from price to trust to bring our discussion to a close. Let's zoom out a little bit. Finally, Jason, where do you see Asia's FX and CFD market heading over the next few years? Do you have any thoughts about that?
Look, I don't have a particular strong view about Asia. I think it's following the global trend. I've now worked in Europe, Singapore for 10 years, and then the UAE. And every time I've moved jurisdictions or moved continents, everyone's sort of discussed the nuances of the local market. And actually, if I compare Asia to the UAE, there's a lot of similarities. People want a trusted partner. They want to be able to come and visit you at times and have that available to them. There's a lot of importance put on building up that face-to-face trust, both with a company you're going to put money with or a company you're going to partner with. So I don't think... Everyone likes to think they live in a unique part of the world, but actually there are a lot of similarities. We've seen a transition into more online trading and online brokering, and the space has grown massively in the last 10 years out of Europe, out of Asia, and I think that will continue. But selecting a good partner who has both a balance sheet and the technology and the capability of dealing with large amounts of volume and keeping your both money but also data safe is going to be the sort of driving factors as we move into this sort of next phase of brokerage growth.
Excellent. So Jason, he has just told us a good partner is really important. So IC Markets here, he is representing his company to tell you that having a trustworthy and reliable partner with a well-recognized condition and also a very huge volume of data, as well as to protect your money and data, they cherish the security of data, personal information very much. So this is really, really crucial. To conclude, we've seen a powerful evolution from competing on price to competing on authentic partnership, from complex legal tests to official transparency, and from using AI as a buzzword to utilizing it to empower human relationships. And this is the maturity-driven future for Asia's market. And a profound thank you for sharing these valuable insights with us, Jason, just now. And thank you very much for your attention. And let us know if you have any questions. Go straight to IC Markets booth and get more information. Thank you very much.